Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Monday, August 28th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the room real quick. And then we'll get started with our session shortly. Just got a couple of things here to update. We should be good to go. That's good. A few more things here. All right, perfect. Looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, we got a few moments for people to make their way in. And we'll get started shortly. And post this in one last place. All right, solid. All right, guys, morning, everybody. Today's Monday, August 28th. It is 6:23 right now. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend, ready to kick off the trading week officially in a few moments once market opens. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So let's see who's here so far. All right, let's see who's here. Morning, iPhone. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Ben Hartwig. Morning, Maddie. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Vince. Morning, everybody. Sorry, guys. Looks like we are ready to kick off this trading session.
Introducing Iron Beam, a bright choice.
Take it off real quick. Looks like we're good. All right, perfect. Hey, Marcin, how's it going? Morning. All right, guys, so I'm going to start off by kicking off the liquidity zones over here. I'm going to start off with the weekly time frame. We'll go down to the 10-minute, and then we'll identify everything from there. So let's start off over here. If you guys are new here, I identify liquidity using my high-low indicator. It's the main reason I created this indicator, to identify where liquidity is sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and start marking up levels over here that have not been tested. And we're identifying this as liquidity zone. So there goes a weekly. Let's go down to the daily. Let's go down to the 8-hour. So as you guys can see from last week and the week before, a lot of liquidity has been building up. Not even the week before, actually, like for the month, from the month before. So basically all summer here, you guys can see all of these levels of liquidity that are pretty much building up, and they're ready to get triggered eventually, right? Once volatility picks up, this liquidity is going to knock everything out. So we're just patiently waiting for this to happen. It's going to happen eventually, right? You guys know that eventually volatility is going to pick up, and then once price hits these areas, there's going to be a huge stop loss hunt in both sides. We're basically in either direction. There's not really much of a bias today. Here's the 1 hour, so we're going to go down to the 30-minute, and now we're going to change the color to red. Everything 1 hour and above is going to be high level liquidity. Everything 30-minute and below is going to be low level. So low level is going to be red, high level is going to be blue, so that you guys can identify everything. And that way we can make everything color coordinated so that there's no confusion, what's strong and what's weak. It's not necessarily useless, it's just weaker because obvious reasons here. Lower time frame. All right, so we marked up all liquidity. Let's go down to the 1 minute. As you can see, price is right here, right now, currently. And the closest level of liquidity is actually very far off. So this level over here is way up there. It's about 2,000 pips away. So it's pretty far from the top level of liquidity. The lower level of liquidity down here is about 1,000 pips away. So this is going to be a lot closer. So this is going to be the closest level of liquidity down below. Since it's so far, it's probably going to be overextended by the time it reaches there. So you probably want to only go for 100 pips if even that's the case. So we have liquidity marked up right there. There's not really much close liquidity to current price, and we'll see what happens when market opens. Volatility is very low. ATR is currently at 7. So, we'll see where this ends up going. But that's pretty much that. Hey, Maria, morning. Let's take a look at the news for today. So for today, we have news there's no pre-market news. There's news at 7:30 and there's news at 8:30. So we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 7:30. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go here to the clean chart. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that up right there. 7:30, and that's pretty much it for today, it looks like. Other than that, there's news at 8:30, but that's not going to be really relevant to us because we typically stop trading by 8 o'clock. Looking over here at CNBC, fundamentals are currently up 159 points, so they're somewhat bullish at the moment, pre-market. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's currently 58% short. This indicates that 58% of retail traders are currently selling, so we typically want to do the opposite and buy. It's not very strong, but it is still somewhat bullish right now. So we're probably going to look for some buys here because this is somewhat bullish. This is more of a bullish neutral. We'll just put neutral here for sentiment until it goes up to 60. And then the fundamentals here up 158 points. And then looking over here at the technicals, short-term technicals are bullish. You can see prices above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. On the long-term, price is bullish neutral. Since price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green on the 30-minute and 1 hour, however, the 4 hour over here is still neutral. So with that said, we'll see what happens here when market opens. So we'll probably be looking for some buys today, but there's no guarantee it's going to keep pushing. So we'll see. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is neutral, 58% short. Fundamentals are bullish, plus 120 points. Short-term technicals, bullish. Long-term technicals, bullish neutral. So there goes the bias right there, guys. Market is going to open in about 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. So we'll see where price moves over here. Volatility is pretty low at the moment, so we'll see how this moves. There's not really any news this morning too much, so there's not much of a catalyst pushing price around. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully the volatility does pick up, but if it doesn't, that's completely fine. There's nothing to push price around today. For this specific morning. So there goes price. As price pushes up, you can see our bias here is bullish, so it's pushing in the direction of our bias, which is completely fine. The volatility is too low right now, so we can't even take any entries if we wanted to. But what I'll do here is I'll start marking up the level so that we can start looking for some possible entries as price continues to move along. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and mark up opening price, which is right there. So there goes opening price right here. Let's go over here to the clean chart. Mark up opening price right there as well. Let's go over here and mark up the times. 6:30 market open. 8 o'clock end of live session. So once price starts to move around, I'll mark up structure. But right now, there's just no structure at the moment. This is going to be our clean chart. As you can see, price is just bouncing around where it opened from. Opening price is going to be that blue line. And what I'll do here now is I'll start marking up levels. So $60, $70, $80, $90, $50, $40, $30, $20, $10, $100, $90. All right, so as you guys can see, price isn't really pushing too much. The ATR is currently at 12 right now. It looks like it may pick up with due time, but right now it's still bouncing around, so it's gotta give it some time. Hey Kenny, morning. All right, guys, market is now open. ATR is still kind of low. It's currently at 14 right now. We typically want it to be above 15 in order for us to start looking for entries. So at the moment, there's just no entries for us, but price is moving. So we may get some opportunities for entry as price continues to climb higher. This right here is an overextended candle. So as you guys can see, price did push up very heavily, about 400 pips on this candle. So you probably want to wait for it to retrace back a little bit. Maybe even wait for the next momentum signal. Because the last thing you want to do is chase this move here, and then you end up getting caught in the retracement, right? All right, so price is kind of bouncing around this area right now. I would not take an entry if the entry comes up here. We do have the bullish signal, price pushed up. This is the retracement right here. So technically there's a setup that's setting up right here. It's not one that I would personally take though. So if it does set up here, I will follow it, but I'm not going to take it. For one, it's too early in the session. For two, the volatility is not as high yet. It's currently at 15 right now where we want it to be, but it's not consistently at 15. On top of that, this candle here is too big. So whenever you get a big candle like this, one of two things typically happens. Price will typically either retrace back down to the halfway mark or the entire candle. So the last thing you want to do is get pulled in and get stuck in a position as it's retracing. So you want to wait for price to kind of stabilize a bit from where it's currently at. And then from there, we'll start looking for any possible entries. Hey, CJ, morning. Morning, Randy. Morning, everybody. All right. So the retracement actually didn't happen yet. I mean, even if the retracement happens, I'm not going to be looking to take any trades here because of this huge candle. I need price to kind of push up a little more, or actually even just retrace down a little bit before I start looking for any possible entries over here. The ATR is picking up though. It's currently at 16, which is exactly what we were waiting for. So we're pretty much just waiting for a retracement here now. It is still kind of early in the session. It's currently 6:34 right now, so it's a bit early. We typically don't start looking for entries until at least like 6:45, 7. So there's no need to force anything, guys. No need to force anything, no need to rush anything. If you guys are not familiar with how the market moves on Mondays and Fridays are typically the riskier days to trade during the trading week. Monday, because people are re-entering the market from the weekend, that's where you get this big push to the upside because the order is getting filled and people are re-entering the market for the week. Fridays, people are exiting the market, so you kind of get manipulation on both sides. So you kind of want to wait for the orders to come in, kind of stabilize a bit, and then from there you'll be looking to take your entries. Let's take a look at the sentiment real quick. So sentiment here didn't really change too much. That big push is just people re-entering market, it looks like, or even just market makers pushing price to the upside. It was 58% short on open. It's still 58% short right now. So the short sellers are still in the market. They're still holding on to the positions. And that's why you will want to be a little careful with chasing this move here, because if you chase the move, the short sellers are still in the market. They can still pull price down. Hey, Samir, how's it going? Yeah, no, definitely good to have you here. Your first day here, I believe. All right, so yeah, just like I mentioned, guys, just be patient with your entries here. You don't have to force anything early. So let the entry come to you. Wait for the setup to set up. And then once it sets up, we'll start looking for any possible entry here. Let's see, at this point, price is quite a bit overextended. So typically I'll measure from the nearest low. Price is pushed up 1,300 pips. So I probably would hold off on taking any entries right now. I'd look for some sort of retracement and then just look for the next buy signal to come up. Because the last thing you want to do is enter a trade and then it goes into a retracement as soon as you enter, which has happened to a lot of people. All right, price still isn't at the next level of liquidity, but it's getting close to it. As you guys can see over here, price is attempting to get to this next level of liquidity right here. So I marked up this liquidity pre-market. Looks like it's attempting to climb up to that point. If price comes straight to that point right there, I wouldn't take it right away. So if it goes into something like this, I wouldn't take it like that, because what could happen here is this can be a fake out and price can actually come back down and then come back up and then blast through like that. So price is very overextended, but it is reaching towards this higher level of liquidity right there. So if price does get to this point, that's probably going to be the target price point that we're looking for, the liquidity up there. And this aligns with our bias. So if you remember from this morning, I put today's bias on the chart over here. Retail sentiment is currently at neutral bullish. Fundamentals are bullish, short-term technicals are bullish, and long-term technicals are also bullish neutral. So with that said, we already had an idea that price was going to be bullish today. It was just a matter of time for it to play through. So just be patient and just be disciplined with your entries today, especially. All right, we're getting the retracement right here that we were anticipating. I'll mark up the entry here, but I'm not going to take it, guys. As I mentioned, price is very overextended, so I'll mark it up here if you guys are looking to take the entry. But again, I'm probably not going to take it myself because price is very overextended at this point, and I don't want to get caught in a trap. All right, so no retracement there yet, or actually there might be if this candle closes red. So this would technically be the entry right here at this price point. So if you're in the position, this is technically where it would be. I'm not in this position. I'm just following it. The reason why I'm not taking it is because price is extremely overextended. You can see that price is pushed up about 1,300 or 1,400 pips at this point. So the entry would technically be right here, but again, I'm not going to take it because price is just way too overextended. If you guys look at the criteria over here, let me put the criteria for the strategy. So if you look at the notes over here, it says note only one entry per momentum signal, ATR must be 15 or above, and take caution if price is overextended 75 to 100 pips points. So right now it's currently way overextended. It's not 75 or 100, it's actually 130 points. So that's why I'm not taking this specific entry right here. I just wanted to show you guys that this is pretty much the setup that we would be looking for if price was not overextended. Right now, price it's way too overextended right now, so I'm not looking to take anything at this moment. I'm looking for a sell signal to come up. I'm hoping a sell signal comes up and then it provides another buy signal, and then I can take the next entry as it comes up. So I'm going to delete this because I don't want you guys to think that I'm in the position. But if you guys are ever uncertain about an entry, just make sure to look at the criteria. And you guys will see here that it pretty much lays out everything here for you to look at. All the criteria for you guys to follow, and then also the things to look out for as well if price is overextended and whatnot. So the trade's still technically running if you guys are in the position. I'm not in the position, like I mentioned. It's not a position I wanted to take. So it's still technically running right there if you guys were in it. But like I mentioned, it's just too risky for me to take. So I'm not going to be in this position right here at all. Yeah, I'm not even going to enter it late. But you can see right there that it is pushing right through. I probably should have been okay with putting a buy stop there and catching it late, but it's okay. I'm not looking to force anything right now. But it looks like it's going to hit TP. Yep. And it just hit TP right there. So if you guys took it, great work. If you guys didn't, it's fine. You know, it's okay to be conservative right now because today is one of the riskier days to be trading. But this is the setup that you guys are typically looking for. You want to look for bullish momentum, bullish trend using the pivots and the trend meter. Look for price to push in that direction, retracement, enter at the next full number, and then have your pending order, pull the order and go straight to TP. Again, this was too overextended, so I wasn't looking to take it, but if you guys did take it, we marked it up and I provided it for you guys there. Not going to count as an official trade because the only official trades are the ones that I personally take myself. So if I don't take the trade, even if the trade wins, it's not going to count. This trade won here, the setup how it's supposed to, but it did not fit my criteria with regard to overextension. So on to the next one, guys. Looking for a sell signal here. Once we get the sell signal, I'll look for another buy signal, and then I'll look for the continuation back to the upside. So now that we have structure kind of set up there, I'm going to go ahead and mark up structure over here. So we have structure up here, and we have some structure down here. And we have some more structure down here. So not really too much going on here. Here's a clean chart. As you guys can see, price pretty much open from right here, pushed to the upside right here. And now it's just consolidating around this area. Yeah, it's what Andrew said. So Andrew said consolidate here to a little more sellers. Yeah, exactly. So that's probably what's going to happen here. Some consolidation, lure in some more sellers. Retail traders are starting to stack up. It's currently at 60%. That was expected, right? It was expected to be increasing as people are attempting to identify this as the high. So I do want price here to consolidate a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to consolidate for that long, but what I'm looking for and what I need is a sell signal. I need a sell signal to come up here to confirm the retracement. Once we've confirmed the retracement, then we can start looking for possible entry. But right now, we just don't have anything just yet. All right, so we just got to be patient. We already have the entry for this momentum signal, so we can't take anything else. We need to look for another momentum signal to come up. So I need a sell signal to come up here. Once the sell signal comes up, and at that point, I can start looking for another entry. But at the moment, there's nothing that we can do right now because this momentum signal has already been used. So only one per momentum signal. And now we're just waiting for the next one to come up. Also, guys, if you guys didn't see my message yesterday, so I posted the message in the group. I also emailed it out to you guys. I've uploaded the official strategy video for the momentum pullback scalp strategy, the strategy that we're applying right here. So if you guys want to learn this strategy, or if you guys haven't learned it yet, just go to our website, kodikaitrades.com. Again, that's kodikaitrades.com. Click on unlock your free access right here. Once you unlock your free access, you'll have access to the course. This is what the course looks like. So if you look at the message and at the email, it says to go down to module 4. So if you scroll down to module 4, which is right here, it's going to be the first strategy. You click on momentum pullback scalp strategy right here, and then it'll take you to the video. And this is where you can watch the official strategy video for the momentum pullback scalp. So if you guys are new here, just go on the website. You guys can get access to this, and then you guys can learn the strategy step by step so that you guys understand what we're doing here on the live session. This is one of our main strategies. We also have liquidity push here that people tend to apply. This strategy is better explained during the mentoring session. So I tried to make a video for this yesterday. It's the problem with the strategy is that it's not necessarily cut and paste. It's not a strategy that you can just like apply step by step. Marking up liquidity is okay, but in a lot of instances, like for example, here, the first liquidity on open is typically 300 pips, but liquidity here is so far, it was about 2,000 to 3,000 pips away from opening price. So we couldn't really go for 300 pips here, right? We're typically going to go for something smaller, like 100 pip target. So just a little reminder, guys. And today we'll be having our mentoring session. So if you guys want to cover anything specific, just make sure to come back today at 2 o'clock. If you guys are not part of the premium, the mentoring session is live stream. So just make sure that you guys are on the YouTube channel. So go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiTaiTrades. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications right here. You'll see the button here on the right side. Once you guys do that, you'll get an email when I go live. So if you guys go to the YouTube channel, you subscribe and turn on notifications. Every time I go live, which is about 6 times a week, you guys will get an email notifying you that I'm live so that you guys can hop on. You know, I try to provide as much information and value to everybody here, whether you're the premium or not. You know, my goal here is really to help you guys understand what I'm doing so that you guys can just pretty much mimic my success of trading. So yeah, if you guys want to join, feel free. Mentoring session is pretty much open to everybody. You guys can ask me whatever trading questions you guys have. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So other than that, let's see. Randy's asking, are the market movers back? What do you mean by that, Randy? Sorry, I'm just confused with your question. What do you mean by the market movers being back? Oh, the market makers. Okay, sorry. I was like market movers. I thought you were talking about something else. So I think you're referring to the market makers. Market makers are not. I mean, they're not necessarily back from summer yet. I mean, it's still August 28th. They don't like if you don't have to trade. Like imagine if you were a billionaire or a trillionaire, Randy. Like if you have like all the money in the world, you're not rushing to come back to work, right? You're gonna take your time. So it's August 28th right now, and there's not really much going on. I mean, if there was a lot of news happening right now in August, like if you looked at the calendar, if there was a lot of stuff going on, like some type of high impact news for them to trade, then possibly, but it's not even NFP this week. Actually, no, it is NFP this week. So it is NFP this week. You know, they might come in. I don't think everybody's in the market yet. So the one way that you can identify if they're back in the market is by looking at market volatility. So let me just show you. So if you go to the daily time frame, this is probably easier to, or let's just do weekly, right? So I'm just going to take everything off the chart here. So you can just look back at historical data. So you can go back to like, so let's say August over here, or July, or let's say June. June is like, well, March, July is like, as the time where the volatility is pretty high. And then we'll go down to like, say, we'll do August. And then we'll go to September. And then we'll go down to, we'll say mid-October. So this is like full swing. Okay. So if you look at the ATR over here, you can see that the, or actually the weekly is probably not the best. Let's go to the daily. All right. So if we look over here, this is like, say, okay, so look at August over here, right? August is midsummer. So if you look at August, look down at the ATR, it's currently 557, right? So it's pretty slow. We're just gonna measure this so I can show you the difference between summer movement and fall movement. So right here, you can see down on the bottom, it says 557, right? If you look over here to September 6th, it's still in the 500s, right? It's currently at 535. So August 1st, 557, September 6th, 535. Look over here at October, it's now at 733. See the big push in volatility right there? It starts to increase a lot more. You go over here to November, it's in the 600s, 700s. December right here on the holidays, it goes back down to 500 because people are on vacation. You go over here to like, let's see, January, it goes up to like, or January 1st is like New Year's. So you go here mid-January, it's on 600. And you can see the difference. It starts to adjust right here as price starts to shift around. So right now, it's still not really moving fast enough. If you look over here on the open, it's just the market volatility isn't here, not yet. Typically, the ATR would probably be around like 25 consistently. Right now, it's still at 17. Even market open was only like at 8 points ATR. So just try to use the obvious to identify, whether volatility is there. The volatility here is not very high. You have like 1 or 2 candles that are actually moving. It's not consistently pushing up and down. So I don't think the market makers are back in the market yet. It's still too early. Just think of, so whenever you think of things like that, Randy, just think of things from a basic understanding and logical perspective, right? Look at the volatility. The volatility is consistent and great. Volatility died down right here. So obviously there's no market makers pushing price around. Still too early in the summer. I mean, it's still too early in, I guess, fall season. It's not even fall yet. But yeah, they're not waiting to get back into the market. All right, let's see. Maddie said NFP week, Labor Day next week, 61% short, stacking sellers. Yeah. So right now, let me just clean this up. You guys already know the criteria. If you guys want to learn the criteria here, just go ahead and pull up the strategy video. I want to make the charts as clean as possible. We currently have a sell signal right here that's identifying the retracement pullback. So price is currently pulling back right now. What we're looking for next is we're looking for a buy signal. If we can get a buy signal here, we're going to look for price to push up, retrace, and continue up higher from that point. So once we get there, we'll start looking for price to pull back and then look for entry at one of these points here. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for here. We do have the retracement pullback on this red candle. Now we're just waiting for price to, pull through here. Yeah, Maddie said next buy signal should be nice. Stacking sellers, I can see it push up to the next liquidity level above. Yeah, I think so that's going to be our target price point, guys. If you guys look at liquidity up here, that's going to be the target price point. So price is pulling back right here. And then if price starts to make its climb back up, then it's going to try to hit this area of liquidity, which is what we're looking for anyways. So basically right now, we're looking for a buy signal to come up. Once we get that buy signal, we can start looking for a possible entry. Right now, we don't have that yet, but that is pretty much what we're looking for. Let's see. Oscar is asking if there was a V1 at 648. See, 648 was right here. So it's a V1 pattern, but it's not a V1 entry. Yeah, it's what Kevin just mentioned. So mentioned said it was a double body, but didn't have a bias. Yeah, so it was a double body right there, Oscar, but not a V1 entry because you need to have the overall bias for a sell. If everything was pointing toward a sell and you got a V1 variation reversal pattern, then you could have rolled that into profit, right? So there's actually a V1 for a buy right here, Oscar. I don't know if you identified that, but there's a V1 right there that's currently running. So there's another double body right there, but the bias is bullish, right? So if you guys took that right there as a V1 variation that that Oscar was looking at right here, and it looks like it's about to hit TP. Yep, full TP right there, Oscar, if you took it. So you just want to make sure that you're confirming what the bias is, right? If you guys have the bias here, this is a V1 pattern. If you guys understand the strategy, nice. So Oscar took it, hit his TP. Again, guys, if you guys have access to the course, this is one of the main strategies that are applied. So if you go over here to the course, again, like I mentioned earlier, the variation strategy is going to be pulled down at the scalp strategies down here. So there's 3 different variation strategies, V1, V2, V3. This one is one of the favorites, the V1 variation. Price came up, retraced down, had a reversal pattern right there for a V1 variation. We had a bullish bias, pending buy signal, pretty much lined up perfectly. Oscar took it, hit that full TP. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys did it, it's completely fine. I didn't take the trade. It's not one of the official strategies that I'm looking at on these live sessions, but it is one of the favorites here in our group. So nice work right there, Oscar, taking that trade. Hey, Gary, good morning. All right, so we're looking for this buy signal here to close. Once it closes right there, we'll look for price to push up and we'll look for possible entry. So I'm hoping this buy signal here closes. Once it closes, I'm going to look for price to push up, retrace, and continue up higher from there. I'll be looking to take my buy once we get that opportunity. All right, the buy signal didn't close yet. Hitting buy signal right here, but we still have 30 seconds. So it's got to be a little patient, wait for this to close. Don't want to get too excited. You get too excited and you start to get impatient, you start to build up FOMO. So I want to make sure that this candle here actually closes. Once it closes, then we'll be good to look for entry. All right, still no buy signal there. It's pending, but it hasn't closed yet. So again, we're just waiting. You know, as I mentioned, there's not really much of a catalyst for there's not much of a catalyst for price to really move today. So we're really just waiting for the entry to come to us. Just waiting over here. So we got some profits over here from Patricia. Looks like she took that V1 variation. So here goes Patricia's first account, total profit of 1,910 for the day, all wins. Nice work on this account, Patricia. We also have Patricia's other accounts here. So our first account, 1,870, all wins. Her second account, total profit of 1,570, all wins there as well. And then her third account right here, total profit of 1,327 for the day. So all wins across Patricia's accounts. Nice work, Patricia, to officially kick off the trading week. Let's see, we've got Kip over here. Kip's currently up 1,445 on the first account, 1,495 on his second account, 1,445 on his third account, 1,545 on his fourth account, and 1,395 on his fifth account, all wins. So nice work right there, Kip. Kip took that V1 variation as well, and he's now out. So if you guys find one good entry, one or two good entries, doesn't have to be an official entry. If you guys see something that sets up using any of my strategies and you guys are happy, then feel free to call it a day, guys. You guys don't have to force trades, right? Just make sure that if you guys have a goal of like one or two very solid trades, like for example, Oscar over here identified this V1 variation. If I took this here, I'd have been solid, right? Could have taken that trade and then been done for the day. So just make sure that you guys are patient about looking for these entries. And then when you guys do find an entry, you know, take it if it fits your criteria. Once it fits your criteria, if you're good and you're happy with your profits for the day, you guys have to keep in mind, like, for example, here, if you have like one trade, one win is probably like $1,000 for majority of you guys. If you guys are trading on a 100K account, right? So you think about it, you make $1,000, you take one good trade a day times 5, that's 5,000 a week, right? 5,000 times 4, that's 20,000 a month. 20,000 times 12, that's 240,000 a year. So if you guys can just stick to that discipline, you know, the profits will add up. And then if you have multiple accounts like Kip over here, you know, Kip over here has 5 accounts. You take one trade, you're up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 in one day. You know, you start doing the math there and the possibilities are pretty much endless. So Patricia here as well. So just keep that in mind, guys. We have Rashida over here. She locked in a total profit of 404 on her top step account. Nice work right there, Rashida. And then here's Rashida's other account, total profit of 331. Looks like she took the buy over there as well for the V1 variation. Nice work, Rashida. Let's see, question from Samir. Samir is asking, was 651 a valid short momentum scalp? Um, 641. Samir said, never mind. I see the candle was green and the momentum signal not valid. So at 651, yeah, so there would have to be a buy signal there if that was the case, but there was no buy signal, so there wouldn't be a momentum scalp pullback. Or actually, it depends on which one you're applying, Samir. I don't know if you're referring, I'm assuming you're referring to the momentum scalp pullback, or you might be referring to the high-low momentum scalp. Okay, so you're talking about the high-low. So for this right here, this momentum signal is invalid. We do have the higher high right here. So this signal here is red, but if it had a red candle, like you mentioned, it is a green candle. If it was a red candle, then yeah, it would be a valid entry, and you could have taken that for a sell, which would have been a full TP, of course. So yeah, you identified the pattern. You just, the momentum signal just wasn't valid. So that strategy that you're looking at is good for a ranging market, Samir. So you identified it properly. It's just that the candle was not a valid signal. If it was, it would have hit pretty nice. It looks like it was probably valid initially, and then at the last second, price kind of spiked up, and then it came up invalid. Yeah, no problem, Samir. Maddie mentioned that the retail sentiment is currently 61% short. So looking over here, guys, retail sentiment is currently 62% short, actually went up by 1%, Maddie. So with this being the case, this means that 62% of retail traders are currently now selling. This is good for us because now that we have sentiment here, we know which direction that we probably want to trade in, which is going to be a buy. So with a lot of retail traders over here trying to catch the drop to the downside, price may possibly fake out down here and then swing right back up, right, which is going to be in our favor. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for and what we're looking at right now. If this here closes with a strong green candle, this could possibly be a V2 variation. So if you guys are looking for any of the variations, you know, if it's a strong green candle, it could be a V2 variation that a lot of you guys typically like to take. I mean, this can even be a V3 variation if you guys are not even looking for the size of the candle. So see where this ends up going to. Yeah, that'd probably be it'd be considered maybe like a V3 variation or something like that. Not one of the official strategies that we're applying, but if you guys are looking to take something of the like, you know, that'd probably be the situation. So still looking for a buy signal here. The buy signal might come up after. I mean, that might be the case, and buy signal might just come flying through. All right, so sentiment is looking pretty decent. I mean, price is kind of still climbing up a little bit. See where this ends up going up to. So out of the variations, guys, my favorite variation is the V1. I typically don't like taking any other variations. If there was like a double body there, possibly would be a nice entry, but yeah, not exactly for, well, I mean, for me personally, I'd like to take the momentum pullbacks scalp, which we don't have yet. It's just going to be a matter of patience and pretty much just waiting here. The volatility is starting to die down a bit, so hoping it picks back up. It's currently at 17 right now. It's hoping to pick up a little bit, but at the moment, it does not look like the case right now. Let's see, Maddie said, I'll be looking for a buy when they're ready to stop out the sellers. Might fake out down here, gonna wait for that buy signal, especially on a day like today, still luring sellers here. Yeah, I agree, Maddie, 100%. I think the main catalyst here would be the buy signal. Once we get the buy signal, then we can confirm that price is ready to climb back up. But right now, it's just, it's either slowly climbing down or it's going sideways. That's basically what's happening here. And the market's getting kind of boring, so I think I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. It's hard to standing. I think I'll probably keep the standing desk for like days when I'm like, when the market's actually moving around. It's hard from standing up. All right, so we're good. Back to my chair. It's a lot easier for me to just hang out. I feel like when I'm standing, I get a little more antsy. Like I get some FOMO and I want to enter a trade, but when I'm sitting down, I'm more calm. So since volatility is still low, we'll keep it at sitting until we get to I guess fall season. I mean, you guys can tell over here, if you look down at the ATR, so like back earlier when Randy was asking about the market makers being back in the market, you can tell just by looking at the ATR. The ATR down here is just super slow, right? It's currently at 16. It's getting even slower. Generally, when the market's in full swing, it'll be around like 20, 25. I mean, on Friday, it was up to like 30, which is, I haven't seen it that high during the summer. So pretty much just got to sit tight and wait for some confirmation here. But again, there's no official entries for today yet until we get this buy signal. The buy signal might be the might be our golden ticket. All right, so we have a pending buy signal on this candle right here. The volatility is extremely low. You can see these candles here are starting to get really small. I mean, it looks like it's going to be setting up for a doji, but you guys can see obviously as price moves around over here, it's moving super, super slow. All right, we have the pending buy signal right here, a few seconds left. And it did not close, unfortunately. I was waiting for it to close, pull back a little bit. But as you guys can see, these candles here are getting really tight. So I'm hoping some volatility pushes price up. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's now bullish neutral. 62%, big candle right there. Yeah, Maddie said it's the buy signal has been pending for the past 14 minutes. Yeah, so right, it's not exactly too solid just yet. So I was just following the entry right here. If you guys took the V2 variation, it looks like it actually played through. So the V2 variation from earlier right here, it eventually ended up swinging back up right there. It pulled back into like some pretty heavy drawdown, and then it came right back up and hit TP right there. So if you guys took the V2 variation that we were identifying earlier right here, that also hit full TP. Just came back to it to identify. But again, we're looking for this buy signal. Once we get the buy signal here, we can start looking for a possible entry. But at the moment, you know, like Maddie said, it's been pending for like the past 14 minutes. So it's been quite a bit of time since the signal has come up. So it's just going to be a matter of patience. It's just a little frustrating because it's Monday and you kind of just want to squeeze that trade in. And there's been a couple entries that already came up and they all pretty much hit. So like The momentum pullback scalp hit right here. There was a V1 variation hit right there, V2 variation that was right here as well. And that also hit. And now we're just waiting for this buy signal here to just close so we can start looking for an official entry. But it's just one of those days. The ATR is now down to 15. I'm hoping we get some volatility pushed to the upside because the ATR is pretty low at this point. You know, we're going to need something here, or else if the volatility is too low and we get an entry, then we won't really have the opportunity to take an entry because the volatility is too low, right? Randy also mentioned it's also going to get close to news. Yeah, we have news over here at 7:30. It's currently 7:10. So we have news here at 7:30. It's medium impact news, Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index, which will hopefully be a catalyst to, you know, kind of push price around. As I mentioned earlier, guys, this is NFP week, so it's another reason to be a little careful, because with it being NFP week, we're probably going to get some slow market. There's typically a few different types of NFP weeks. So for NFP week, typically we'll either get a very volatile week where every day is very volatile. It's not seeming like that today because today's very slow. If it's slow today, it might be slow tomorrow. And then it might pick up on Wednesday, or it might even pick up tomorrow. Looking at the news over here on Tuesday, we have a lot of news actually. We have S&P CS Composite Index, the S&P CS Composite 20 HPI year over year index. We have CB consumer confidence at 7, JOLTS job openings at 7 o'clock, and we have a lot of news just stacked up tomorrow. So there might be some volatility and some movement tomorrow that will push price around in our favor. So hopefully, you know, if the market stays flat today, it'll probably pick up tomorrow. If it doesn't pick up tomorrow, then it's definitely going to pick up on Wednesday. So that's typically how NFP plays through. It's NFP is such a tricky week. It's really hard to tell, you know, how it's going to play through. So you can't really, it's difficult to predict how the market's going to move. The buy signal here never came up. It's still kind of, we got a big red candle right here, but the volatility never really picked up. It's still flat. So I just got to sit on my hands, guys. I really have to sit on my hands until the buy signal comes up, because right now it's just not really, there's nothing that we can really pull out of this market right now until we get that buy signal. So just got to sit tight. I think for today, I might not even trade my MC4 accounts. I don't like how the market's moving. It's very, very slow, very flat. So what I might do today is I might just trade on my trader beta. I think that's probably going to be the best option for me, so I don't have to take too much risk on. Because my trader beta, I only have 2 accounts. So 2 accounts versus 7 accounts is a big difference with taking these risky trades here. Yeah, realistically, we have to wait for, it looks like price is coming down, but really it isn't. It's kind of just going sideways. So let's go over here to the clean chart. You guys can see that there's fake outs in both directions. I drew these 2 structures earlier, and you can see how there's a fake out above right here. And then also a fake out below down here. It just keeps faking out and pulls back into these areas. So now that price has kind of bounced around a bit, let me go and update the structure. But you guys can see that there's a lot of fake outs in pretty much both directions right there. So we got the higher high right there. We got the lower low right there. And now we have the true range. So this is the actual range right here where price just keeps bouncing back and forth. It's not really doing too much. It's kind of just going back and forth, right? So, we'll see here. It looks like price is coming down right here on this chart because it seems like price is climbing to the downside, right? But realistically, it's not. It's just going sideways. That's why I have the clean chart here. So we have this for entries, but the clean chart here is really to identify structure. So I keep this right here just to identify where structure is. And you can see that there's not really too much going on. Price kind of just came up to this high point, established a high, came down, established a low. And now it's rejecting off that low again right there for a double bottom. a double bottom or even a triple bottom. There's about 1, 2, 3 touches right there down below. So yeah, Maddie said it went from 61 right back to 62. Some sellers got stopped out and enter right back in. Would hate to be a seller in this market. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are trying to time the sell, but I think price is going to climb back up. We're just looking for that buy signal, but we don't have it yet. So that buy signal is going to be our catalyst to say, okay, it's time to enter the market now. But right now, it just hasn't came up. This buy signal has been pending for like, the last, I don't even know anymore, Maddie. How many, like 25 candles now? 20 to 25 candles. With no buy signal. But realistically, you can see over that price is just going sideways. So it's not really a big deal. Question from Samir. Samir is asking, Sean, are there back testing scripts for these strategies on TradingView? No, there isn't. There was only a back test script for the original intraday scalp strategy, but there's no back test strategy for back testing script for all of it. I mean, you could only imagine how much work that would be, right? For me to there's like 30 strategies there. So I purposely don't create a back testing script, because if I create a back testing script, it just makes the person lazy, right? Not you specifically, but it makes the person lazy. If I do all the work for you, you're not going to go and test it yourself to see if it actually works. And that's the only way to get better with your trade psychology. So if you go and back test it yourself, it helps you build your trade psychology so that you understand that it actually works. It's not just a script telling you that it does work. It's you actually testing it and understanding that it works and then how it doesn't work in certain circumstances. Because I do have a backtesting script for the original strategy, but not for anything else. I was going to create backtesting scripts for them, but not every strategy has the ability to use something like that, because not everything has true values. Like, for example, these V1 variations over here, they're not necessarily true values, because these lows here can get, like if price pushes lower. So for example, see how there's a high low right here? If price continues to come down after this high low is closed, it'll establish a new high low. So it repaints. The only strategy that can really be truly backtested would be the intraday strategy, or in other words, intraday scalp, because these momentum signals don't repaint. So once you get a momentum signal, it stays. And then you can like truly identify if it's been established or not. Yeah, Kenny said price might go sideways until news. And then Randy also mentioned hoping it picks up after news. Yeah, I agree. So it's 7:18 right now. I think the volatility here is starting to slow down a bit as we get closer to news. This is a medium news event right here. So once the news event passes over here, hopefully it'll provide some volatility and hopefully look for any possible entries there. Samir is asking, is there a top 3 strategies that you should focus on? I mean, it's really up to you, Samir. Like, you have a different trading personality from me. I can tell you, or you can just literally apply what I'm doing. I just told you like the main ones that I do. I do the V1 variation, momentum pullback scalp, and then sometimes liquidity. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? So what you should do is you should look at the strategies, figure out what you like the most, and then focus on those 3. All the strategies are good. There's no bad strategies in the course or on the website. So I can tell, like right now, we've been applying the strategy for like months now, right? Just because we're applying it here and it hits almost every time. Like if you don't have the patience to wait for an entry like this, it's not going to be good for you, right? Even though it's a great strategy. So same with the V1 variation, right? The V1 variation is like everybody's favorite, but not everybody likes to apply it because they don't like to wait for those patterns to come up. So, I mean, if you're asking me personally, then it would be the momentum pullback scalp, the V1 variation, and I mean, it could be a toss-up. There's so many other strategies. I like all the strategies. If I didn't like them, I would have never created them, right? So those would be the top 2. But I mean, it just kind of depends on like what you're looking for specifically. There's a V1 variation that just came up right here that Vince also identified again. There's a double body right there. And it looks like it already hit TP. I don't know if anybody took it. Looks like William caught it. So William caught it right there, pretty full TP. for that V1 variation. So nice work right there, guys. If you guys caught it, Vince didn't catch it, but William caught it. And then he said, boom, just close. Nice work, William. Yeah, so let's see. Samir said, so far, I like the high level momentum scalp. Yeah, actually, so that's another one. So sorry, I forgot about that one, Samir. So you're already on to one. It would be the high level momentum scalp. It would be the momentum pullback scalp and the V1 variation. So if you're asking me personally what I like, the thing is, I don't like to tell people what I like personally because I don't want to force it on you, right? I don't want to tell you 3 strategies and then you think, okay, these are the only strategies that I need to focus on. Because all the strategies work. It just depends on your personality. Like, for example, like you just mentioned, Samir, you said you like a high level momentum scalp because it's the easiest to follow. So that fits you perfectly because it's such an easy strategy. So what, yeah, again, like I mentioned, I would probably try every strategy at least once. Samir, just try each strategy at least once, see what you like, and then see what's most profitable for you. Because the thing that you need to keep in mind too is that some strategies are going to come up more often than others, right? So for example, right here, I like momentum pullback scalp. That's basically the main strategy that I apply here at the live session. That's easier for me to follow. You know, you're gonna have to be able to sit on the charts for a couple hours and sometimes not even have an entry. So like, for example, here, we've been waiting on this chart since 6:30, right? It's been almost an hour now. And there hasn't been an entry, but I've been able to just sit on my hands and wait for the setup to come to me. So yeah, some strategies will provide more entries than others, and some won't. So like, for example, the high low momentum scalp, that was one of our main strategies, but it didn't come up as often for a good period of time because market was trending for a while. So I stopped applying it because it just didn't come up. But you can see now that strategy comes up a lot and it actually hits almost every time. So yeah, it's just really up to preference. Anyways, we have a buy signal right here, guys. We need price to push up. So I need price to push up to at least this area up here, retrace and continue. And then I'll take an entry whenever it comes up from that point. But I'm basically waiting for price to actually push up from where it's currently at. The buy signal is right here. So I need price to push up a bit higher, retrace and continue. Let's see, Talanji said, yeah, so Talanji is one of the few people who still applies the snipe strategy. That used to be one of our favorite strategies too back then. So, I mean, I could go on and on with the list. Like there's been time periods where these strategies have been my favorite. Talanji's actually been applying the snipe strategy for years now. Talanji's been part of the group forever. He said the snipe is his favorite confluence. It works on all higher time frames. So he doesn't have to stick to the 10-minute or 15-minute only as a confluence though. Yeah, so Talanji here has been using the snipe strategy as a confluence to trade in that direction. And it helps him identify, you know, where he wants to trade. So you don't necessarily have to use every strategy as a standalone strategy. You can use it as a confluence like Talanji does here, which is perfect. I think Talanji uses it perfectly because that's how it should be used since that strategy is applied on the higher time frames. Because that strategy is a 10-minute strategy and it's basically impossible to apply that during these live sessions because the volatility here is so low right now during the summer. All right, guys, so we're still looking for price to push up right here. Don't worry. I know I'm answering some questions, but there's just no entries for us to take here at the moment. Volatility is extremely low. If you look at ATR down here, it's currently at 13, and we have news coming up in about 6 minutes. So even if we do get an entry right here, probably not going to take it for a couple of reasons. For one, volatility is extremely low. And for two, there's news coming up right here at 7:30, which is medium impact. Let's see, Kenny over here is asked, or Kenny mentioned, I found that back testing on your own will give you a good idea of how the strategies work. Then applying them on live by using a demo account will give you a good idea of how it works best for you. It'll take time, but you'll eventually figure it out. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, Kenny. Everybody's different. So everybody learns at different paces. Some people get it right away, some people don't. Some people follow direction, some people don't, right? I mean, you have to see like how it fits your trading profile, Samir. But I think you'll be fine as long as you follow directions and you focus on just 1 or 2 strategies. I think for now, you should focus on just one strategy. Focus on the high level momentum scalp. And then once you master that, move on to the next one. Because if you try to learn too many strategies at once, you're going to make some mistakes, and that's where things start to fall apart. So there's a possible entry right here that's setting up, guys, but it is getting close to news. So might want to be a little careful with entry here, guys, if you guys are looking to take anything. Entry is either going to happen right here at the 40 mark, and also the ATR is too low. So I'll mark it up for you guys if an entry does come up, but I'm not going to take the entry because the ATR is, well, it's starting to pick up now, but it's still kind of low. Like Randy here mentioned that ATR is currently at 14. So we typically want ATR to be at 15 or above. But yeah, like what Randy said, the ATR is just a little too low right now. And we're getting a little too close to news right here as well. Yeah, probably not the best day to FOMO because I don't want to like get myself stuck in a hole before the week starts to pick up. So I'm personally just hoping that there's no setup that comes up from now until 7:30. I know it's kind of wishful thinking because it's probably going to come up before 7:30. So we have a possible opportunity here for entry. I'm not going to take this entry, guys. It's too close to news. I'm not looking to take anything too risky right now, but I will mark it up because I know some of you guys here do take risky trades. I'm just doing it for visualization purposes so that we can follow it, but I'm probably not going to take this entry. So we have an entry that's setting up right here. We have a buy signal, trend is bullish, price pushed up, retracement on this red candle right here. Entry would be at this next level right here at the 30. I'm hoping it doesn't fill and then it just ends up swinging up higher, right? Because if that's the case, then it wouldn't really matter but it technically would have filled here. If anybody's looking to take this entry, it technically would have filled for you. If it closes with a sell signal, you would have to close out for a small loss at wherever it's at, whether it's like for a break even or even if it's in profit right here. If you're following the strategy as it's supposed to be applied, if the sell signal comes up, you have to close out, guys. So just keep that in mind. It's probably gonna hit your TP. But you know, preparing for the worst, just in case. So I'm not in this position right here, guys. The reason why I'm not taking it is because the volatility is kind of low. And then also we have news right here in the next 3 minutes. The last thing I want to do is get caught in this position and price just goes sideways as we wait for news. So if you guys are in the position, it's still looking fine right now. It's looking decent. I would probably close out right now. Honestly, it's in profit right now. You're probably halfway to your TP or almost all the way to your TP. I would probably close out for a profit right now. I wouldn't get greedy, but it looks like it's going to hit TP right there. There you go. So if you guys took it full TP on this trade, this is the perfect setup that we were looking for. For one, it was too close to news, and for two, the ATR was too low. It's currently at 14 right now. So unfortunately, again, like I mentioned, guys, there's no entry here that we could have taken. It doesn't meet our criteria. So I just wanted to set it up for you guys so that you guys can see. But as you guys can see, two of the momentum pullback scalp entries that came up today, they all hit full TP. This one over here hit full TP. And this one here hit full TP as well. I didn't take either of them, so none of them are going to count as an entry for today. But I just wanted to show you guys the entry that came up. Yeah, Rashida said, I didn't like the double body and ATR. Yeah, no, same here. So there's a double body rejection right there, a V1 pattern, not necessarily a V1 variation, but a V1 pattern. And then also the ATR is too low. And then also on top of that, we had news right here at 7:30. So not exactly the ideal entry for me, but I did mark it up for you guys to follow if you guys wanted to take it. James said, you're going to wrap it up early today. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, definitely, James. It's all right. I would probably wrap it up early too if I were you, because there's just nothing for us to take. And the volatility is too low. It's still at 14. But yeah, so I'll see you either later today, James, if you're coming to the mentoring session. If not, I'll see you back here tomorrow. So see you then. All right, let me scroll up real quick. Siobhan's asking, what should be my stop loss on the trade manager? So it depends on what strategy you're applying, Siobhan, if you're applying this strategy that we're doing here, the momentum pullback scalp, on the FTMO trade manager, it should be 2,500 or 250. I mean, it depends on your broker. If you're using the quick trade manager, it'd be 2,500 because that's going to be equivalent to 250 pips or 25 points. If you're using the DOM, it might be different. It depends on your broker. But if you're using FTMO, it should be 2,500, 2,500, because you need to count for the zero after the decimal. That'd be 250.0, but you can't put a dot in there, so it'd be 2,500. Yeah, William said some of you guys are taking risky trades, said my mentor just now. Yeah, no. So I mean, it's up to everybody's preference, right? Like, so the thing with these entries here that I'm showing you guys is that I'm giving you guys opportunities. I'm showing you guys what's available. You know, there was a momentum pullback scalp over here, but there was a reason why we didn't take it. There was a V1 variation over here, but it's not one of my main strategies, so I'm not taking it. It's not within my trading plan. There was one right here again as well that came up, but again, it's not part of my trading plan, right? The ATR is too low. The news was coming up shortly, and there's reasons why I don't want to take it. However, there's a lot of people in the group who are okay with taking risky trades. That's why I provided for you guys, because you guys are taking those trades, you know, at your own risk. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, I try to keep an open mind here so that you guys can follow, because I know some of you guys here still want to pass your challenges within like 1 or 2 days. So if that's the case, I'm going to show you guys possible opportunities, but you guys just have to understand that they are risky. So yeah, William said, Sean, I do like and appreciate you showing the opportunities. I just don't take them during news. Keep doing what you do. Yeah, exactly, William, 100%. You know, it's better to be safe than sorry, because the thing is, the last thing you want to do is be caught in some drawdown or be stuck in a hole, especially in the beginning of the week. Like today's Monday, you guys definitely don't want to be in a hole today, because if you have a good day tomorrow, you're probably going to be back at break even if you're like in the negative today, right? Which is not really where you want to be. You want to be in the positive every single day if possible. And then at the end of the week, it adds up. So yeah, I agree. William said it's great to mark them up. I do too, but I don't take during news or low ATR. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, William. That's the best way to do it. I mean, you guys can see over here, like for me, I have no trades right now. But you can see a couple people here did take some trades, you know, whether it be risky or not. And then they can wrap it up. I mean, realistically, it's just taking like 1 or 2 solid trades a day, and you're pretty much solid. So I'm looking for this sell signal right here to close. The reason why I want this here to close is because I need this retracement to confirm. And then once we get a buy signal, I can look for the continuation back to the upside. So I want this here to close with the sell signal, and then I'll be looking for the next opportunity as price continues to follow through. So we have some more profits over here from Andrew. Andrew said, done for the day, locked in a total profit of 1,137. Nice work, Andrew. Looks like he took that momentum pullback scalp right there. So solid work right there. We got Kevin over here as well. He took the entry as well, total profit of 456 for the day. Nice work, Kevin. Yeah, definitely. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Here goes Sam over here. Sam took the buy as well. Total profit of 297 for the day. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, Sam said slow day, didn't hold this because of news. So Sam took the entry that we marked up right there, but he closed it early because of the news event that was coming up. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. Let's see if there's anything else. All right, so looking at the ATR, guys, I mean, you don't even have to look at the ATR, just look at the candles. The candles are not moving at all right now. I was hoping that news event would be the catalyst to really push price through, but there's not really anything going on. If you look at the candles here, the candles are super low. They're not really moving too much. And then you look down at the ETR. ETR is currently at 12. That's very slow for open, right? Market opened like about an hour ago. The volatility should be crazy right now. It should be moving up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So this goes back to what we were talking about with Randy earlier. Randy was asking if the market makers are back in the market. I think it's safe to say that they're definitely not in the market right now because the volatility is extremely low. Yeah, that's the I draw another structure right here because so here's the thing, we have this wide range right here, right? And now we have an even tighter range. So we had the big range and now we have the even smaller range right here. I don't think it was my yacht indicator. No. Yep. I'm glad I got my chair. Man, if I was standing for like the last 30 minutes and ATR went down to 12, I'm a little upset. All right, it's all good. So we just gotta sit tight, guys. I mean, there's nothing for us to take right now. Volatility is too low, nothing to force it. You guys can see there's no movement in the market. I mean, it doesn't matter what strategy you're applying. If you're applying any of my strategies, I mean, even any of your own strategies, odds are your strategy is probably not playing through right now because the volatility is so low. You know, the thing here is you also have to keep in mind that we're trading on the 1 minute time frame. So imagine if you're trading on the 5 minute, you're still not getting any movement there, right? Or if you're trading on the 15 minute, it's extremely slow. So even on the 30 minute, right? You know, some people like to intraday trade on the 30 minute. These candles are not moving at all. So if we're trading on the 1 minute and this is slow for us, imagine how it is for like all the other day traders out there who are trading on higher time frames. This is why I like the 1 minute because it's so you can see every single movement. Like you could actually see the movement between structure here and low volatility versus trading on something that's very high or not even very high, could even be like the 5 minute or something. But yeah, I think the ATR here is going to be our best tool because this is going to help us identify without actually FOMOing into any moves here. Yeah, the ATR is it's just a clear view of like how slow the market is currently at 12. If you guys are not familiar with how the ATR works, basically we have the ATR set to default settings, which is the past 14 candles. So what it does here is it calculates the past 14 candles. So like, for example, if you look at this right here, this current candle, it goes back 14 candles, 14 bars. So what it does is within these 14 bars right here, it identifies the range, right? The average true range, like the average of the range. And you can see over here that the range is barely at 12. So the problem with that is that if your TP is 10 points and price just keeps going back and forth like 12 points, it's probably not going to hit your TP, right? And you're going to be stuck in this position, like basically praying that it goes to in your direction, which it might not even happen. Yeah, Kenny said 10-point TP is a hard push right now. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you were to get like a big spike in price or a big push, big candle, that would be considered a big push right now, which is crazy because 10 points is not a lot. You think if you talk to anybody about like how big is their TP is probably like 100 points, right? Or like 200 points. We're going for 10 points, which is like 10% of like what they're going for. And we can't even get that right now because the volatility is so low. So yeah, Kenny said he's done for the day. He's switching to a demo account, which is fine. If you guys want to keep trading, I mean, I wouldn't even keep trading, but if you wanted to keep trading a demo account, if you want to play with the market, that would be the case. But even if that's the case, you'd still have to cover the spread. So just keep that in mind. I mean, just because price is moving, you know, a few points or a few pips, you still have to cover the spread. So that's another thing that people forget to realize when they start to take trades when the market's not really moving too much. Because what happens is you enter the trade and you're already automatically negative, which is never a good look. And you guys know how that plays. Never plays out well. Yeah, Maddie said no trades for him. No trades is good for him. Stress free. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. Like I would hate to be stuck in a position right now. So say for example, if you're holding a position and price just keeps going back and forth, I would hate to be in that position because then I would just be stressed out, right? But there's not too much going on here. Maybe this price comes back to this lower range. So price is coming down slightly right there. But the volatility is still very low. So, all right, guys, it's 7:40 right now. We have about 20 minutes till 8. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, just a reminder, we are having the mentoring session later today at 2 p.m. So if you guys don't get your questions answered right now, or if you have a detailed question that you need me to go into pretty deep, just make sure that to attend the mentoring session later today at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to get off this live session at around 8 or slightly before that. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 2 o'clock. So in about 6 hours, I'll be back basically. So Pacific time, 2 p.m. mentoring session for everybody. I can answer whatever questions you guys have. So here's one thing that I also want to remind you guys. So if you guys have your own strategy, I can help you guys make that strategy better, right? You don't have to cover like one of my own strategies. I mean, odds are, it's probably best to cover the strategies that we're applying. But if you have your own strategy, I can show you how to make your strategy better using my indicators. Because the reason why I created these indicators were basically to cover all aspects of trading. So if you guys have looked at all my indicators here, I have momentum indicators. There's like a lot of things that people apply where they need help with. Like, so say for example, there's somebody here who messaged me the other day and they mentioned that they like to trade support and resistance, right? If you trade support and resistance, you can trade using the SR indicator to identify support and resistance levels. For a lot of people, like their problem is identifying proper support resistance, right? So for example, over here, so you can see right here, for example, that there's all these levels here that are marked up, right? So some people have trouble identifying where their support and resistance is. So for example, there's a resistance right here. And there's like, say, a support right here, right? And I think that's a problem with people applying certain strategies like that, because what happens a lot of the times is that people misidentify where support resistance is sitting. So for example, right here, for that person, I'm not going to name them. Obviously, I'm not going to put you on the spot for asking me a question like that, but for them, they like to trade support resistance. So for example, here, they like to trade double tops or triple tops. So right here, you can see there's a resistance that I identified. If I turn off all my drawings right here, and I turn on my SRV2 indicator, you can see that my resistance is still there, right? So you can see the double top. I just drew my own zone there to clean it up. So for that person, they like to trade support resistance, and then they had a problem identifying where proper resistance was. So I gave them access to my SR indicator, and you can see there's a double top right there. And what they did was they took this same exact entry that happened, I think this morning, they messaged me this morning, and they entered it right there for a sell. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have done this before. I mean, a lot of you guys like to trade this way. And they put their stop loss like right there, 5 points or whatever, at like 10 points. And they went for a 1 to 2 risk reward. Like that, let the trade run. And then hit their TP right there. And then they actually re-entered the position. So they had a position like that, and we already had the resistance lined up. And I basically just told them, okay, that resistance has been established, so you can probably double up on your position right there. So they took 2 positions right there. They basically doubled up on it, and then they hit their TP. And then same with the low over here as well. So I think another thing that they did here was they identified this as a double bottom. They enter their short position right there. Their stop loss was slightly below. I think they used a minimum of 10 points. And then again, right there, they went for a 1 to 2. and they hit their TP. Price came down again for another test. They did the same thing. So I just want to show you guys that you guys don't have to apply my strategies, but my tools work universal. If you guys have a strategy that you like to apply, and it hits again right there, right? So yeah, that's why my indicators help, because my indicators will show you where your support and resistance should be versus guessing. Because I feel like a lot of people put support and resistance in the wrong places. So just wanted to show you guys that, because we do have somebody in the group who's fairly new. He only knows how to trade support and resistance, but he had a problem identifying where the support and resistance was actually at. So that's why I created that code there to automatically plot the support and resistance for you, so you don't have to go and do that yourself. But yeah, if that's something you guys want to look at, feel free to let me know. Other than that, let's see, it's 7:46 right now. It's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. If there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, the market is moving very slow, so we might just wrap this up early today. There's really no reason to trade. As you guys can see, each candle is barely moving. So there's no volatility. The ATR is currently at 12. This is probably the lowest I've seen in a while. Typically, it's at least at 15 until 8 o'clock. But right now, the volatility is extremely low. It's currently at 12, 13. You can see over here from this clean chart, there's not really too much going on here as well. So Shiv said, sounds good. See you at the mentoring and tomorrow, Sean. Yeah, definitely, Shiv. So I'll see you back here in a couple hours if you're going to be here at the mentoring session. If not, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Patricia said, Sean, hopping off, not liking the market right now. Yeah, probably best decision, Patricia. You're pretty much solid for the week so far, and for the day, you've locked in some pretty good profit overall. So I think you're pretty solid. All right, Shiv, yeah, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Here's Maddie. Maddie took no trades, and as you guys can see, Maddie pretty much writes down all of his rules every single day. So you can see over here, Maddie marked down his rules like basically every 30 minutes. He's looking for one good trade if the opportunity is present. Stay patient for the perfect setup. No revenge trading. Focus on execution and analysis. And that's all he's looking for. So nice work right there, Maddie, on sticking to your game plan. Kenny over here just sent in his profits. Nice work, Kenny. Kenny locked in a total profit of 1,060 for the day. Kenny said done for the day, 2 wins and 1 partial. 2 wins, 1 partial and 1 full TP. So Kenny here locked in 1,060 for the day for all wins. So nice work right there, Kenny. Yeah, there's not too many profits today. I mean, it was kind of a, it was a bit of a choppy day. The volatility is still very low, so it's not necessarily a good time to trade. So my bias is if you guys don't have to trade, I would just sit out today, guys. You guys have a whole week ahead of you. It's barely Monday. We still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday ahead of us. So we got 4 days to go. And it's on top of that, it's NFP week. So yeah, I wouldn't force anything, guys. If you don't have to trade, which I'm pretty sure majority of you guys don't have to trade. If you guys are doing a challenge, you guys have to remember that there's no time limit. You guys can take as long as you like, whether it takes a month or it takes 2 months. As long as you guys pass and get funded, that's the key goal here. It's not necessarily to get funded in 1 day, it's to get funded. So all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions for the day so far. It's 7:50 right now, almost. It's going to be about 10 minutes till 8. I don't see volatility picking up anytime soon, so it looks like we're just going to wrap this up for the day. So all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, if you guys are new here and you guys want access to the indicators and the strategies, just go to our website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. And then on top of that, if you guys want to attend the mentoring session later, the mentoring session is open to everybody. So just make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/kodikaitrades, click on subscribe and turn on notifications right here. And you'll get an email when I go live for the mentoring session later today at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So all right, guys, unfortunately, today was not one of those trading days where volatility was to be high. I'm thinking volatility will pick up tomorrow. But if not, we're going to conserve our capital until the volatility does pick back up. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys back here in a few hours for the mentoring session. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, if